Hi, and welcome to another book review. It is always a privilege and a joy to share with you what I've most recently read, my impression of the book, and one or two lessons I learned from it. So, the book I am reviewing or talking about today is written by Amanda Craig, PhD, and the title is Who Are You and What Have You Done with My Kid? Connect with your tween while they are still listening. Now, this book is geared towards parents or guardians who have children who are about to become teenagers. It is sort of a start preparing now before the teenage years come and having to deal with the tumultuous teenage years, how to handle teenagers, what is going on with them, and so on. The one thing I definitely found interesting about the book, or rather the most interesting thing to me, is that it has a lot of things that will be beneficial not just to parents of about to be teenagers, but also people who don't even have kids, because it has a lot of interesting sections that deal with self-examination and self-care and self-soothing and being compassionate to yourself and so on. So the book definitely talks about what is happening, like it delves into the science of what is going on in a teenager's brain or a tween, how their brains are changing, the emotions they're experiencing. It examines social factors like how they can be socially awkward or don't even have the tools to properly communicate what is going on with them and what they are feeling and so on and so forth. However, one of the most interesting two sections to me are parts 3 and 4. Part 3 talks about what lies beneath, essentially self-examination for the adults. It has learning from our past, looking at soil issues, or rather what we would call foundational issues, and how to start correcting and healing from whatever that has happened in the past that may end up being a roadblock between parents and children. And the author definitely recognizes that self-examination is not always a pleasant thing. Most of the time, it will be best to go to a therapist and have someone guide you, even as you go through the process of self-examination. But sometimes, before we get to a therapist, a lot of us, if we put our mind to it or really want to do it, can sort of reflect on our own lives and dig deep into what is happening with us, the trauma we've experienced, and what has happened in our lives. The author says it is critical that we examine our past and look where we'd rather not, because the better we know ourselves, where we are strong or where we are likely to get stuck as parents, the more able we will be to heal the past hurts and fears that may be throwing up roadblocks between us and our kids. The stronger we will be as men and women living the lifestyle that is authentic to our deeper self. So it encourages parents to take a look at what has happened with them, how their parents parented them, things that hurt them or things that as parents or parents to be that hurt us that we may be carrying around, traumas we might have experienced that we haven't dealt with. Like, it is really important to go back and sort of process things that happened while we're growing up. Some of it might be the way our parents parented us, and a lot of the times our parents just do what they know or what they see modeled for them. So I've heard parents who have said, well, my mom and dad raised me this way, so I'll raise my kid that way. And sometimes we forget, you and your kid are different. No two human beings are the same, not even identical twins. What works for A might not work for B. And number 2, sometimes a lot of the things our parents did, which is not to cast blame, a lot of what they did was hurt us made us hurt in a way that so deeply we carry it. And it's not that they did it on purpose, they just did what they knew how to do. But that does not erase the effect it has on us. Sometimes the baggage we carry because of it. Sometimes it's the way they talk. Sometimes it's the way they interacted with us. And if that is not dealt with, it can either be replicated in the lives of our children, manifest in some other way, and throw up emotional roadblocks between parent and children. And not just in parental relationships. I think it can also throw up roadblocks in any relationship between friends, with a romantic partner, with siblings. If whatever emotional hurt or trauma that is being carried that is not dealt with can make for pretty rocky relationships, especially between parents and teenagers. One of the things the author suggests is to be present in the moment, to make sure to be mindful and being self-aware of our responses to things. So on page 99 she says, mindfulness also allows us to catch ourselves in the moment our twin disconnects from us in reaction to something we said. If we are mindful of every moment of what it is we are saying in the moment, sometimes we can catch people's reactions to what we are saying. Sometimes it might be, oh, I've said it the wrong way. Okay, let me quickly address this so that it doesn't fester with the other person. And sometimes, it's interesting to see the other person's reaction, and you've worded it right and your tone is okay, but it is interesting to see the other person's reaction. But if we are being mindful, if what we've said is eliciting a bad reaction, if we are being mindful, we can easily catch it, stop in our tracks, and try to change. So I mean, the book has a lot of interesting information for parents and for parents to be, and those who hope to be parents someday. I definitely recommend it. It is an easy read. I love the way it is sectioned, like it goes section by section. It's not really long and boring. I mean, it does go into some subjects like talking about hormones and the different types of hormones and what they do, but that's such a for those of us who get cross-eyed at stuff like that, that is such a small portion of what the book has to offer. So I do recommend taking a look at it. And even if you don't, I hope what you take away from my review of the book is not just the importance of self-care, but the importance of self-introspection, self-reflection, especially those of us that don't have kids now, starting now to start to process events that have happened from our past, learn from them, learn to start being mindful, and already having in mind that our children are not going to be the same as us, and what worked for us maybe might not work for them. So that is my review. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you on the next video.